Hi, welcome to lessonswithtroy.com. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this week's lesson is going to be a fun one. It's all about the minor pentatonic scale, and it's all about learning it in patterns. I've got 5 patterns for the minor pentatonic scale that basically cover the 1 octave of the neck of your instrument. And we're in the key of C for this one, but everything that I show you is totally movable. I was inspired to do this lesson by guitar players that would call me and say, you know, they've played guitar, they can improvise, and they know these boxy minor pentatonic scale shapes, and was wondering if I had anything on the site that was like that, but for Dobro. And this is what I've tried to make with this lesson. I've got 5 patterns for the minor pentatonic scale, and that's the first page of your tablature, and it looks like this. And we start off there with the really useful X shape, which I've showed you in lots of different lessons, but I'm showing you how to extend that out with 4 other patterns, and it should cover a whole octave of your instrument. So once you get these 5 patterns down, they all connect together. Pattern 1 connects to pattern 2, to pattern 3, to pattern 4, to pattern 5. And then on the second page, I show you how to add just 1 note to the minor pentatonic scale, and it gives you a blues scale. And then after that, I show you a 3-note sequence that you can do with the minor pentatonic scale, and you can apply that sequence to each pattern then. But we'll just focus, as far as the tablature goes, on applying it to the X shape pattern for the minor pentatonic scale. So this should be a real fun one, really useful if you're looking to solo, if you're looking to play, you know, some cool bluesy stuff. And I've got 3 jam tracks. They're like in a cool acoustic bluesy jam track at 3 different tempos that you can practice these scale shapes with. So if you're ready, print out the tablature. We're in open G tuning, GBD tuning, but we're in the key of C, and it's all going to be bluesy kind of stuff in the key of C. And one more thing, this actually goes great with slow and pretty Dobro and actually slow old-timey Dobro, because both of those lessons are in the key of C as well. So you apply these scale shapes with those, and you've got a pretty good understanding of the fretboard. So let's get going here with movable minor pentatonic shapes. Okay, so diving right on in here to pattern number 1. This is my super useful X shape, and it's going to start on the 5th of the scale. But it's really important with all of these patterns to know where the root note is, okay? So for this particular scale, your root note is going to be on your 6th string and your 3rd string. So then if you want to move this pattern around, pattern number 1, just move it to whatever the key is, and you would move it to match it up with this 6th string and 3rd string note. Like for example, we're in the key of C, and this 6th string and my 3rd string those are the notes C. So if you wanted to play this pattern in the key of D, you would move right up there and play the same exact pattern, but play it on your 7th fret. Okay, so that's kind of how you start transposing these patterns into different keys. And as far as the right hand technique goes, real simple. I'm just going to be alternating with my thumb and index finger for this one. Just like if you're playing guitar and you're doing down and up picks, you know, alternate picking, we're just doing that, trying to alternate pick that, and try to come up with right hand patterns that work for you as well. Okay, so this pattern number 1, the super useful X shape. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, now when we get this, we're going to be tilting that bar up, just getting the tip of your bar, and we start on your 1st string, 5th fret, and then go to the 3rd fret on your 1st string, go down, and we're going to the 4th fret 2nd string, and then go down to another string. We're going to the 5th fret on your 3rd string, and then 3rd fret on your 3rd string. Okay, so 5, 3, 4, 5, 3. Now, one thing I want to tell you here is the Dobro, and I've said this in lots of lessons, it's GBD tuning for open G tuning. So when we learn these patterns, if you learn them on these 3 strings, okay, these 3, the same pattern's going to work here. So this X shape is 5, 3, 4, 5, 3. So you go down to now these 3 sets of strings. 4th string, 5, 3, 5th string, 4, 6th string, 5, 3. So 5, 3, 4, 5, 3. And then the X shape is if we connect the dots. That's where you're going to visualize that X shape. And another thing I want to tell you too is with all of these patterns, look for diagonal lines in it. For example, on this particular pattern, we go 3, 4, 5. We're pulling our bar in a nice diagonal line, 3, 4, 5 on my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. And you should see that diagonal line. You just want to drag your bar down. You can use pick blocking to mute out anything that any noise you might get from previous strings. Same thing when you go on your 4th, 5th, and 6th string. You always want to look for these diagonal lines when you're playing these patterns. Use different fingerings too. You know, obviously you could alternate pick everything like I said, or when you do a diagonal like that, you can go middle, index, thumb, because you can just do 1 finger per string right there. But it needs to kind of fall just right. I like to practice my alternate picking with this thumb and index. It's kind of a Rob Ickes technique. He's all about the alternate picking with their thumb and index. Now I've written these out like that where you're going down the pattern because I find that's easier. Now when you're coming back up, if you were to play this pattern backwards, what you're going to run into is your bar is going to get stuck in the string like that. And you really want to kind of do a dolphin technique where you're just going to go up on the string. So your bar, you're always getting the tip of your bar, but when you go up to the next string, you're going to have to go tilt your bar down and then bring it back up just a little bit. I'm kind of exaggerating that movement, but you don't want your bar when you're coming up this pattern to get stuck. As far as the right hand pattern goes, it's the same thing. If you get used to alternate picking like that, you don't really have to think about your right hand too much because you're just alternate picking everything, just like you would like a flat picking guitar, you know, down and up strokes, where your thumb's going to be your downstroke and your index is going to be your upstroke. So on the tablature, I have it written, you know, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 5, 3, 4, 5. So if you want to play it backwards, just read the tablature backwards or get the pattern memorized. So that'd be the best thing to do. But you know, going back up, it's going to be a little bit difficult. You're going to have to jump that bar kind of up the string so you don't get your bar stuck on each string when you're coming back up.